Well, hey folks, welcome to another What is Ken Up To? And this is sort of the kickoff to the summer video. I'm in my front yard and I just have a lot of little things to do, some maintenance, put in some new flowers. So let me take you around and show you what I'm going to do. All right, so I went inside and put my microphone on and just to make things a little bit easier, went in, got myself a beverage to stay hydrated. It's not real hot today, but still I am in direct sun. I also got a couple pieces. I got to tell you, this has nothing to do with the garden, but Trader Joe's has these root beer float pieces candy, and they are fantastic. They're these little chocolate covered candies that have sort of a crispy center and a vanilla cream and a root beer flavor to them. If you like root beer floats, pick them up. You know, Trader Joe's, they don't keep these things in stock very long. They're seasonal. So anyway, okay, on on to clearing out some of these nasturtiums and all. I'm not going to video everything because that would just be kind of boring. But I'll show you a little bit of what I'm going to be doing. So one thing I would recommend whenever you're kind of doing garden maintenance or putting in new flowers or whatever it might be is always kind of work from one section to another. Now in this case, because I want to take out a lot of this kind of weedy mess right here and some of the nasturtiums and all, I'm going to be working front to back, and then I'll work on going ahead and deadheading the roses. And then just the opposite of that, after I deadhead the roses, I'll get in there and put in the soil that I was telling you about that's going to go in those containers, put the fertilizer in, and then sort of work from the back. And then I'll end up working at the front and putting in the seeds that I want to and some new flowers. Kind of the reason you do that's a good idea is to kind of plan ahead a little bit is you're not stepping on things that you've already planted. So this way I kind of get rid of the flowers that I don't want in the front and do a little weeding. I can step in that area and take care of the roses to deadhead them, get all that cleaned up, and then move to the front and start putting in the new flowers, and then lastly the seed. And that way I don't disturb anything. Everything's good to go, and I don't have to go back, sort of repair what I might have stepped on. All right, so I'm going to trim back these vincas a little bit. I do like them, but they definitely need to be cut back. They're getting very spindly here, and there's some dried areas, so I'm going to go in and take care of that. I'm not going to be too careful, and that's because they're vincas. I mean, they'll come right back. I'm not too worried about that. And then this is some of the nasturtiums I'm going to take out. One of the things I want to tell you about nasturtiums, they seed very, very easily. So you better be confident in the color that you choose when you put them in, because they will drop seeds like nobody's business. Now, when I first put these in, I think it was around Halloween time, maybe, I don't know, 2 years ago. The fall for sure. That's why they're kind of this orange color. And they come back every year because these little seeds, they're like the size of peas, just self-seed all the time. So make sure you like them. Make sure you like where they are, because you're probably never going to get rid of them. Now, one thing you can do is if you really like them, you want these to go somewhere else in your yard, collect the seeds, and you can store them, let them dry out, and you're good to go for the next season. But in the meantime, I'm going to thin these out a little bit and do the best I can. All right, so I've got the front area all cleaned up. I thinned out the nasturtiums, I trimmed the vincas, and so it's now time to deadhead the roses. And for that, I've got my glove on because, I don't want to get a thorn into me. So I'll work on that. That's not going to take too long. And then I'll go ahead and put more soil in there and fertilize those containers as well. All right, for the roses, like I said, I'm just going to deadhead them, kind of shape them up a little bit. I already got some nice blooms coming in on here, so this is a great time to do this, and also a great time to put fertilizer in. Now, if this was the winter and I knew I wasn't getting any more blooms on them, I'd probably keep all these on here because they get these beautiful rose hips on them. That's when the petals fall and you get kind of a reddish a bulb left on there. And they're quite pretty, especially around the holidays. So I would not do that. I didn't do it during Christmas of this past year. And I also didn't do it is because that was the first full year coming up in February with these. I didn't want to touch them until February. But now is a good time to do it. This is something you're going to be doing throughout the season. Whenever you see a flush of flowers on your roses kind of die off, go in and take the ones that are spent, and that's just going to invigorate new blooms coming in. So let me get started on this again. I'm not going to show you every step of this because it's deadheading roses, right? So it's really simple. You can be fussy with this, meaning when you cut these off, whatever side the leaf is on is the side the new growth will go. So that's something that concerns you. Keep that in mind. And other than that, it's pretty simple. Okay, so that did not take long to deadhead these three roses. And I did it in such a way just to kind of even things up a little bit. There really wasn't much on here to do. I think each bush took me maybe 1 minute, 2 minutes at most. And actually, it's kind of satisfying because, as I said, depending how you cut those off, what side the leaf is on, you can kind of manipulate where the new growth will be. Speaking of new growth, you can see right there, I got some new buds. Now, while I was doing this, I did notice that some of the leaves on the tree roses have some spots on them. That happened last year. I don't think that's that unusual. I put neem oil on them last year and that helped. This year, since I have that copper that I used on my peach tree, copper will help alleviate that as well. It's not only just to stop a leaf curl, but it will also eliminate black spots on your roses. So down here, you can see these ties that I have here. Those are Velcro ties. Those, when I first put these in, when they were bare root roses, and the reason I used Velcro was so I could loosen them up as the tree grew and the trunk got wider girth to it. And I just did that. It was time to do that. Not much, but that is the exact reason why I use Velcro. All right, so now it's time to take care of the fertilizer and top off the containers with soil. All right, so as I said, I'm going to take care of the containers here. So what I'm going to do is remove the bark chips, and I'll just, put them in a bucket, and then I will apply the fertilizer and then put some topsoil on that. And as I said, with containers, you always seem to lose soil. It compacts over time. I don't know where it goes, but it's something you have to continually do, especially in this situation where there's a lot, you have basically one tree in here. You don't have anything around the bottom there to sort of contain that and, kind of help alleviate when there's rain coming down or anything else compacting that. Now, the fertilizer I like to use for roses, at least if I can, is a rose tone and from Espoma or any other organic rose fertilizer. This is granule, so I do like using this when I can. And when I can't, I go ahead and use just this synthetic stuff. You put it in water or a sprayer or whatever you want and apply it that way. What I mean by when I can and when I can't, if I have the ability to get the granules in there, I will do that. When I have long established plants like the flowers, the roses in the backyard, it's pretty hard to get that in there. I will do it maybe in the winter when I know a lot of rain's coming and it'll kind of work that granule fertilizer down. But otherwise, our soil is so hard, it's hard to get it in there. So that's when I use the liquid stuff. So out here, I think because I'm going to top the soil, I can do the granular, and I think that'll work really well. So let's get to that. All right, can you see me behind here? So I'm going to use gloves for this only because when I was trimming and some of the leaves drop with some thorns on them, I just kind of want to protect you. Let me take my hat off a little bit easier. So sorry, here I am. So I'm going to go ahead and just remove the drip, get that out of the way. I'll remove the solar light there and get that out of the way. And then I'll just go ahead and get all the soil, or excuse me, get all the mulch out, and then put the fertilizer in, and then the soil. Okay, so let's get the fertilizer in. Sorry, I'm in the shade here. It might be a little hard to see everything, but mainly look at this, not me. So a couple good handfuls of this will do. Maybe one more. Then I'll go ahead and rake that in a little bit just to get it in there. That'll work well. There we are. And now top it off with some soil. And in this case, I'm using just what's called garden soil, and which is normally a bit too heavy for containers if you're going to fill an entire container up. But if you're going to top it off, especially this brand, Stay Green, it's pretty lightweight, and it's a perfect way to hold moisture in. So let's get that in, and not sure how much I'll use here. I noticed the other container I'm going to need more, just for some reason I will. So let me get all that in, and we'll be good to go. And then I'll put the bark chips back on. All right, so we got that done. You can see there, I've got the mulch back in. I put the fertilizer in. I was able to rake back the mulch over here. That way I could use the granulated fertilizer, and then I'll just water that in, and that'll get down in there. So now it's time to do the front of the bed. And I'll show you what I am going to do here. I'm going to start off in the corner here. We were down at Rogers Gardens yesterday, and by the way, if you watch my other channel, Day Tripping with Ken, I just posted a video about Rogers Gardens. These are two variety of geraniums, and let's see here. This one is called White Red Eye. I don't know if you can see that there. And then this other one is called Great Balls of Fire. And they're both very similar. They're both white, and they have pink to maybe fuchsia color throat. So I think that'll look really good. They're full sun, and this will get full sun in this spot. Then here's some of the seeds that I'm going to use. On either side of the bed, I'm going to use this Snow in the Summer Fairy Morris. I'm not exactly sure what these are. It's not listed on here, and I'm not that well versed in flowers. I know a lot of them, but I don't know that. But that's going to be on either side of the bed. Then in the center of the bed here, I've got these moonflower. These are a type of petunia, I believe, and the blooms come out in the early evening into the night. So that'll be looking really good, as the moon comes up, and we'll see those white flowers just shining there. And then down here, we have these 5-spot. And again, I'm not really familiar with what they are. They look like a type of petunia to me. But you can see they're white with a little tinge along the edges of sort of a dark violet to blue. So I think that'll look really good there. Then I was at Lowe's today, and they had these super cal petunias. And here's a tip for you. I know these may not look great, but they had their cart with all the half price flowers, the ones that are, kind of dying off a little bit. And a good tip, you can really save a lot of money. Instead of spending, what was it, $8.98 for this, I spent $4 each for these, and they'll do fine. We do this all the time. It's a good way to save money. And those will be on either side of the center here. So let me get to that. Shouldn't be too hard to do. All I'm going to do is for the seeds is rake back the soil. Most of these seeds don't have to be real deep, so that's going to be really easy. Okay, so let's get these geraniums in. And right here is a good spot. I've had other flowers here before. I've got drip irrigation going here. I then have a line here that has basically a bubbler on it of water as well. So it's a perfect spot for these. I'm going to put the tags like this because I want to remember what I put in. You know, dig a couple holes, put in a little fertilizer, and I'll be good to go. All right, so I got those two petunias in that are flanking the side of the center rows here. And, you know, our soil is very clay-like and very rocky. So it's more effort than you think, even to dig a small hole like that. It's also why I try and plant plants and my roses and all that in containers when I can. Because I'll tell you, I have broken a large shovel and it was the tip of the steel. It wasn't a rocket hit, it hit compacted clay. And so you know, it's always it's always a chore to do that. So they're in, and now all I'm going to do, as I said, I'm going to kind of rake back the soil a little bit here and put these seeds out. They're not going to get any fertilizer. I will go ahead and once these are watered in, I'll just do the liquid fertilizer. And really, while they're germinating, they really don't need any. But once they get going, then I'll do just some sort of a liquid fertilizer here that I can just spray on. So let's get these seeds in, and then this bed will be done. All right, so let's get going with the seeds. And just like everything else, I'm going to work back to front so I don't put the front seeds in and then lean on them or step on them. These are the moonflowers that will bloom in the late evening and then throughout the night, supposedly. These go down about a ½ inch. So all the others are just basically on the top. Interesting seeds. I don't know if you can really see that there, but let's see if I can hold that up a little bit there. But they almost look, I don't know, kind of like pine nuts or corn kernels or something like that. And they're different colors. So it'd be interesting. I've never used these before. I've never grown these flowers. So I'll get those in and we'll see how they look. But I'm interested in that. By the way, I always keep, even if I use all the seeds, I will keep my seed packets and I will date them. I also keep a log. I use AnyList of all my seeds. That way I can always see what I have on hand. I can see if I need to buy something. I put little notes in how they do. So maybe, you know, if I love them and they're annuals, I know I can come back and I'll get some the next year. So even if you use all your seeds, don't just throw out the packets. A lot of information on these. Hold on to these. And all right, let's get these in. All right, so the front here in front of our porch is all done. Got all the seeds in. Um, as I said, when I was putting in the moonflower, those are the size of like pine nuts. I spaced those, about 2 inches apart. On the back, it says about 6 inches apart, but I want to put them closer. I don't know how well they're going to do, and I have a small space there, so we'll see. Then in front of those, I put in these 5 spots. And oh, the moon dance, I still have about half the seeds left. The 5 spot, these seeds were like the size of poppy seeds. So I used all of these. These are only a 16th inch down. So I just kind of, kind of worked the soil a little bit with my little hand rake, poured these on, and then just patted them in a little bit of soil on the top. So those are done. And then the sides of the bed are these snow in summer. Same kind of thing. They're basically put on top and then just kind of pushed in a little bit. They were kind of these little rust-colored seeds. They look like strawberry seeds. You know, the seeds on the outside of a strawberry, that's exactly what they look like and how small they were. I one time tried to start strawberries from seeds. I'll never do that again. I used strawberry starts after that, little basically bare root strawberries. But these I just poured in on either side evenly and patted them in, and we'll see how these do. So there you have it. By the way, if you don't have one of these wagons, even in a small tract home like this, to bring all your stuff from maybe your garden shed or from the front to the back, they are fantastic to have. This is the Gorilla cart. I don't know what size it is, but it also has a dumping mechanism. I have used this to do how I'm using this now. I used it for soil. Sometimes if I'm bringing home maybe some paver paths for my car, I'll load them up on here, whatever it might be. Really recommend that. So I think what I'm going to do, it's getting a little late in the day. I got a late start doing this, is I'm going to end the video here. Now, the other things I'm going to do, I might tag on to the end of this video or not. So we'll see. And if I do end this now, thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. And if I don't, well, you'll see the next part coming up. All right. Thank you. All right, folks. So continuing on from yesterday, it is day 2 here. It's actually Memorial Day. Things got just a little bit late yesterday for me to finish up. So today I'm going to continue on with just sprucing up the front yard here as summer is about to approach. So 2 other things I still have to do is the pentas down here has just dried out. This has been in here for a couple years, and I think the drip system just got kind of clogged up and was looking good a while back. We had some late season rain, so it was in great condition. And then after that, I didn't bother to check. So I'm going to take this out. I'm going to kind of look at the water, the drip system, see what may need to be done there. I don't think much. And then we have containers that are on either side of the garage. And these have some snapdragons in them, some alyssum, few other things, and they're just getting kind of dried out and getting kind of gangly here. So I'm going to take those out, top those off with some soil, and then I've got some new things to put in there and have everything looking good for the summer. So I'm going to get started first by clearing everything out and then planting everything up. Let's start by just hacking at this pentas here and getting all this out of here. Should be pretty easy. There's not much to this. It may look like it, but really this is going to be easy to take out. And I don't know if I can just pull it out, but once I get down there a little bit close, get some of this off of here, I'll probably just be able to pull this out. So the pentas came out very, very easily. And, looking at the soil, it is quite moist. So maybe the drip system is fine. And, for whatever reasons, it just kind of started to die off. Over here, we're going to start on this next are the 2 containers. So one on this side and one way over there. So all I need to do is pull all those out and then top those containers off with soil. All right, this is my son Ollie, and Ollie is a film student, so yes, far better at doing these videos and than I would be. Actually helped set up my opening for Day Tripping with Ken, my other channel. Really got all that started for me, so thank you. They are out meeting Ollie and their friend Joey over there. He doesn't want to be on camera. they're going to go out and go get something to eat here on Memorial Day, and we'll continue on sprucing up the garden, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Just want to say hi to you guys.
All right. Have a fun time.
Bye.
All right, let's go to work on clearing out these containers. This is going to be easy. And as I said, these still kind of look good, but when you really get down into it, like this alyssum is all dried out, it's time to take these out and start fresh and new for the summer. So uh, these, by the way, all came back on their own. I didn't put any seed into these this year. They just started to emerge probably back in March. And you know what's another thing? If you certain kinds of plants like this, snapdragons and alyssum, and basically almost wildflower mixes and things like that, they will come back year after year because they self-seed. So keep that in mind. If you don't want something like that back in your area, especially if you have it out on the landscape, don't plant those. That and the nasturtiums as well, because they will thrive. They are bulletproof. So on one hand, you can plant them once and they'll come back and back and back year after year. So that's kind of good. On the other hand, maybe you don't want that. So this is all cleared out now. I'm going to do the other one, put some more soil in here, and then get the new flowers in. Well, okay, before I put these flowers in, I did check all my drip system, the emitters and all, and everything was working just fine. There was no problems with them. I think when it came down to the pentas, which is going to be down here, which was down here, and I'm replacing it with this red one, uh, one of the emitters just wasn't putting out all that much. So what I did, I replaced the center one with a valve emitter, and that way I can really kind of dial in how much water I want. At first, it won't be too much for this little pentas, but as it grows, I'll kind of dial it up. So speaking of the flowers I'm putting in, this is just another pentas. It's red. It kind of fits our theme with the roses and all. Then the containers will get these beautiful zonal geraniums. They do excellent in our area. They will last for years and easy to take care of. So this will be something put into this container that'll just stay. Usually I change things out through the season, but that will just stay. Then a couple different kinds of petunias. Ones down here, these are those wave petunias, slightly smaller, but they'll spread out really nicely. And then just standard white petunias, and those will, I'll pop a couple of those in on either side of the wave petunias, and that'll be good to go for the summer. And then as seasons change, the pentas and the geraniums will stay in, and I'll just kind of change out the annuals as needed. Front containers and the little pentas put in and ready to go for the summer. We got those beautiful red geraniums there in each container. Those hopefully will last for many years. Geraniums, as I said, do excellent in our area. We got some white petunias there, two varieties, and our mild weather lasts sometimes all the way through December. So we could have those looking good all the way into the holidays, which certainly would be appropriate with those colors. Down here, we got the pentas put in that replaced the dying one. I did adjust the drip on that, so that is looking good. So overall, I am very pleased with how the front of the house is looking as we make our way into summer. All right, well, that about wraps it up for this edition of What is Ken Up To? Sort of a start of the summer garden edition. It is Memorial Day. That's why I'm wearing my patriotic Mickey shirt there. And, I really hope this kind of helps you out. I'm no expert when it comes to gardening. I watch other gardening videos, and learn a lot from those. And maybe I'm giving you some tips that might be useful as well. So that's kind of what I hope. And, you know, if you ever want to, you can subscribe and hit the like button, all that kind of stuff. Also, my other channel is Day Tripping with Ken. I just posted a video on going down to Rogers Gardens in Newport Beach. And then I'm going to be posting another video going to the Sherman Library and Gardens, which is also down there in the Corona Del Mar area. So that channel is more going out and about. So I do appreciate you watching these, and hopefully you have a fantastic start to the summer, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.